Recently, the Green Party just pulled off a seismic upset in the Gorton and Denton by-election on February 26, 2026. Hannah Spencer took the seat with 40.7% of the vote, pushing Reform UK to second and Labour to a humiliating third. This once safe Labour stronghold in Greater Manchester is getting browner and more diverse, with high Pakistani and Bangladeshi populations driving the shift to Greens. And let's not forget the creepy worm running the Greens, Zach Polanski. With his mind control vibes like breast enhancer salesman, is he hypnotising the voters or what? Let's break down the results, demographics, and why this spells trouble for Labour. Today, we're diving into the Green Party's historic first Westminster by-election win in Gorton and Denton, what the challenging demographics in browner areas mean for UK politics, the hilarious humiliation of Advance UK losing to the monster Raven Looney Party, creepy leadership of the Greens like Zach Polanski and his mind-controlling aura. So let's unpack it all. The recent breakdown are the Greens' landslide and Labour's crash to do with Hannah Spencer of the Green Party stormed the victory with 40,980 votes, 40.7% of the share, up to a massive 27.5% from 2024. Reform's UK's Matt Goodwin came second with 10,578 votes. That which translates to 28.7% and plus 14.6%, and Labour's Angelica Stuggia slumped to third with 9,364 votes, 25.4% down to 25.4%. Conservatives got up to 706, Lib Dems got 653 votes, Rejoin EU 98, Libertarian 47. Turnout was 47.6 up to 0.2%. This is the Greens' first ever parliamentary by-election win, making Spencer their 5th MP and first in Northern England. Labour lost a seat they held since 1935, a seismic blow to Keir Starmer as Green Deputy Leader Zach Polanski called it. Reform didn't win but beat Labour in a red wall area, showing their anti-immigration message resonates. And with the demographic shift and to do with the browner areas, like Gorton has a large Pakistani, which is about 20%, Bangladeshi 10%, and African populations, making it more browner than average UK areas, to do with the non-white 40% plus per 2021 census. The Ventulam and Longsite have a high Muslim communities where Greens pro-Palestine, anti-Israel stance played big. Labour's Gaza policy alienates the voters. Many switch to the Greens as a protest against Starmer's Zionists without qualification comment. This reflects a trend of the diverse urban areas are turning from Labour to Greens or independents. Greens campaigned on local issues like housing, NHS and cost of living, while demographics helped. Younger, ethnic minority voters feel Labour sold out progressivism. Labour's ignoring base in browner areas is suicide. They're losing to the multicultural vote that they took for granted. And the real laugh here is that the official monster raving loony parties, Sir Owick a lot, got 159 votes, edging out Advance UK's Nick Buckley with 154. Advance, with to do with Ben Habib's right-wing splinter from Reform, talks big on nationalism but got trunched by a joke party, which was in a total embarrassment. It shows the fringe right-wing groups like Advance are all talk but with no traction. Their anti-immigration, anti-work message didn't land in a diverse seat. Now, the Greens' creepy leadership, to do with the co-leader Zach Polanski, the deputy but really the front man, has the whammy vibe, slick, mind-controlled charisma like a salesman pushing breast enhancers on late-night TV. He celebrated the win as seismic, but his pro-Palestinian rallies and decolonise talk feel like hypnosis, convincing voters Greens are the answer while ignoring real issues like migration strain in browner areas. And to do with the co-leader with Carla Denyer, pushes the eco-socialism, but it's all virtue signalling. Greens win by exploiting Labour's weaknesses, but their leaders are creepy ideologies using mind control tactics to sell utopian nonsense, like promising net zero while ignoring energy bills. This shows that the by-election is the right-wing splinter of the advanced flop, while the left fragments, and it's actually really good for reform but bad for the establishment in that sense. And the Greens win in the adverse area, and it proves demographic shifts in the votes. Labour can't rely on the minority loyalty anymore. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video about me talking about the Greens winning in the by-election, and I just wanted to make more comments on the fact that Zach Blansky is winning, and I think the only one by that merit of obviously Labour's, I guess, to do with obviously relying on the Muslim vote, because basically for a long time they've relied on the Muslim vote to try and get them into power, keep going and constantly, and obviously, you know, when the Tories were in, they didn't rely on the Muslim vote as much, if I can remember. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but I remember that when they tried to appeal to migrants, you do get more voters in, but I do think that a lot of the issues there is that eventually when you are going to talk about their issues, you know, like for example, I saw one woman actually talk about, I think she was talking about the issues like to do with social care, where basically they had issues with, and the reason why they voted Spencer, and if you don't know who Spencer is, she's basically, obviously, you know, she won the by-election. So, and she kind of talked about a bit about her background and how she's like a plumber or something, which I thought was a bit odd because obviously, you know, a woman plumber, you don't usually see that. You know, I see a lot of dudes doing that type of job. So I just thought like a plumber is just going to be a politician within that area, especially how diverse it is. And obviously the Greens are appealing to it. It's an Islamic communist type of party, and obviously that marriage will be probably a massive disaster, especially because, you know, Islam and, you know, communism don't really mix, because obviously communism is more close to atheism, and obviously to do with all the issues you're going to get, because why you have a gay Jewish man run an Islamic communist party, it just doesn't make a sense, especially because he's like a Zionism, or he's like a Zionist, but then he's like, you know, he kind of a little bit more subversive than Keir Starmer, because at least he like goes on about, you know, obviously believes in the land of Israel and they have a right to defend themselves, but at the same time, you know, he's going on about the war crimes in Gaza. And I guess because he's appealing to those votes and appealing to the emotions of voters, which, you know, obviously, you know, with people with low IQ and low impulse control, are obviously going to be a bit more inclined to obviously that type of voter, especially in the browner areas. But yeah, I just think that obviously this kind of shows the demographic shifts, and also to do with how these types of people are women more than Labour, which obviously it was embarrassing for Reform, because obviously they have a very anti-immigration status, in the sense that obviously you have Yusuf, who's like a Muslim chairman, which is ironic, but I just think that, yeah, to do with the centre-right slopper and everything, I think from Reform, it just probably just didn't appeal too much to the voter as well. I guess even then, when there was a guy on the news station that I was watching, I think he talked about that even he voted for Reform, but obviously because the area is more diverse, they got the vote in. And so if you want to go in a link in the description below, we'll link to my other channels and my Discord as well.